Yo, what's freaking good, you guys? This is Cyclone Gaming of the HVV squad of Star Wars Battlefront 2. Now, before I get into the Kylo Ren tutorial, press the info button if you want to see other hero tutorials from other squad members that they've made videos on. Alright, but let's get straight into the Kylo Ren tutorial. Alright, so we have his three abilities, Pull, Frenzy, and Freeze. Pull, he uses the Force to pull enemies towards him, which gets an instant kill. Frenzy, he leaps towards enemies and attacks, and Freeze, he uses the Force to freeze enemies in their tracks. Alright, now let's get on to how you can be good with Kylo Ren, especially with his abilities. Now, Kylo Ren is a very good offensive hero, and he actually can take on a cluster of people because of how good his abilities are. Now, with the Freeze ability, you can freeze the amount of people that are in your radius, which can give you an instant kill if you come up to them. Now, that's also good for the Frenzy. The Freeze and then the Frenzy are good combinations of abilities together. Now, since the Freeze only is in a certain radius, you freeze the amount of people that are in your radius, and then you can just slice all of them down with your lightsaber. But this is also good for your Frenzy because you just leap at all of them and attack them at once. Alright, now let's get on to his Pull ability. His Pull ability is just like the Freeze. It has the same radius, and you can pull the amount of people that are in your radius, as you just saw right there. Now, depending on how many people are in your radius, that's how many people you will pull. In Kylo Ren's Pull ability is an instant kill. Alright, so that's all of Kylo Ren's abilities. Alright, now how to be good in tactic with Kylo Ren. Now, like I said before, Kylo Ren is a good offensive hero. Now, if you find yourself in a cluster of enemies, you can use his Pull ability and his Freeze ability to get that amount of people killed in that certain radius. Now, Kylo Ren, if used correctly, you can actually take down a lot of lightsaber heroes, especially heroes 1v1. And if you're 1v1ing with another hero with Kylo Ren, and if you play with him correctly, you'll most likely win the fight, because Kylo Ren is such a good offensive hero. Now, good ways to use Kylo Ren in multiplayer is, if you find a cluster of enemies, it can be good to go get them because you can use your Pull and Freeze ability to kill all of them, but you will lose a significant major amount of health. Now, it's not good to do this because you obviously do not want to lose the hero, like how I just died right here because I was in a cluster of enemies. Now, if you find yourself, you just saw the death scene of me dying as Kylo Ren. If you find yourself surrounded by enemies, you really should just get out of there. Find your way out, because Kylo Ren is not a good hero for being surrounded by, because he will die. Just like how in this gameplay right here, I'm being surrounded by enemies, and do not do what I'm doing right here, is when I'm actually going for one by one, because if you're in a cluster of enemies and going for other enemies one by one, the other enemies will shoot at you and you will lose a lot of health. So yeah, Kylo Ren is not a good hero for clusters, especially for being surrounded. But if you do find yourself in a cluster of enemies, use your Pull to force all of them away, just like you see right there, and then get out of there. Alright, so I just told you about how he's good effective against infantry and how offensive he is. Now, if you're going to 1v1 with him, he's actually very good. Now, everyone really just keeps slashing and slashing with their lightsaber just to keep dealing that damage. But what you would do if you were in a 1v1 with the lightsaber hero would to use your Freeze ability, freeze them, and then use your Frenzy to slash right up in them, and then just keep slashing and slashing. But if they're far away, use your Pull ability, and Kylo Ren is just one of your go-to heroes for 1v1ing heroes, especially in Heroes versus Villains. He's my #1 villain, go-to villain in Heroes versus Villains, because he's such a good offensive hero. Alright, well, that's gonna be it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video on the Kylo Ren tutorial on how to be good with his abilities, how to be good against infantry, and how to be good against 1v1ing heroes, and just how to play good with him in general. Now, be sure to subscribe to the HVV squad. We do Star Wars Battlefront 2, Heroes vs. Villains live streams, Heroes vs. Villains gameplay, and Heroes and Villains tutorials. And all the squad members are obviously me, Cyclone Gaming, That Real Gamer, The Real Smooth Gamer, and Blazing Fox. We all have our own tutorials on every hero in the game. We are currently still making tutorial videos on every hero in the game right now. Now be sure to like and subscribe to the channel, and press the info button for more video tutorials, and be sure to subscribe for more Heroes vs. Villains content. And I'll see all you guys in my next video of the HVV squad.